Representative Pramila Jayapal, the co-chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, was on the air with us for today for an hour, taking calls in a national town hall meeting. Here's a clip from that about racism and this that it is a deadly virus, and add it to a deadly virus, and it gets even worse. Check it out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel.
Hello, Representative Jayapal. Great to speak with you. As an African American, I'm being empathetic with Chinese Americans. And at least here in New York, there have been an increase of racial attacks towards the Chinese Americans, and a lot of which due to Mr. Trump's tweet and rhetoric, falsely calling this a Chinese kung fu virus. Even FBI reports state that there's been an increase of hate crimes towards Chinese Americans. I can attest that there have been physical attacks towards these innocent people, and even resulting in casualties due to the severity of the attacks. That even in Chinatown, Manhattan, there's been a heavy presence of police officers. And as a result, all the Chinese restaurants here in New York have closed down. I found out that 99%, maybe 100%.
Michael, forgive my interrupting, but we have less than a minute left, so I'm gonna ask the Congresswoman to respond to your great rant.
Thanks, Michael.
Whatever you want, But go ahead, Congresswoman.
No, thanks, Michael. I mean, I think that this is a huge issue for the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus. Grace Meng in New York and Judy Chu in California and I have been really leading a charge to fight back against this. We've written letters to the president. We've issued statements. We have been very clear that this cannot continue. This is, in fact, there was new research showing that the virus was probably brought to New York from Europe. But this is not a time to think about where this virus is originating. Everybody has it. It's a pandemic. And it does not do any good. And in fact, it's incredibly harmful. People have died. Asian Americans across the country have died actually because of hate violence related to this. So you are right to be disturbed by it. I thank you for that. And this is something that every single one of us should be speaking out against. The racism that is coming out from these stereotypes and the incorrect information that the president continues to put out there when he calls it a kung fu virus or Chinese virus or any of those things. It's just outrageous, and we got to speak out against it.
Yeah. Congresswoman, I misread my time cue. I still have 45 seconds. Do you expect that there's any way to successfully push back on Trump's use of racism and xenophobia to promote his political agenda in the context of this thing?
I think it's very, very difficult. You may have seen an article today that he is using the virus to essentially do what he's been trying to do for a long time and shut off asylum on the southern border. We have been working very hard on the immigration front, and you may have seen that actually we sent a letter, I think it was a week ago, to DHS about getting these detainees out of the immigration detention facilities because there are outbreaks there. And ICE just announced 2 days ago that it's going to start that process. We have a whole bill around what that looks like to use alternatives and get folks out into safety.
That's great.
And, really attack that in a